You're tired or bored, so you're scrolling on your phone, and then that's when you see a mum reel come up, and it's a mum that's acting out, giving her toddler dinner, and she's rolling her eyes because her toddler is just refusing to eat off of anything other than the blue plate, which is in the dishwasher. And it's a moment that you completely relate to. And then later on, that exact same thing happens to you in your own home, and then all of those emotions come back up, and that's when you can't help but say to yourself, see, this is why parenting is just so hard. This is just insane, and these kids are crazy. And I used to love scrolling because I used to feel like, thank God I'm not alone, thank God I'm not the only one, and finally somebody is sharing about the real challenges that parents have to go through, and it's not all behind closed doors. But let me explain to you in this video a few reasons why it actually makes parenting even harder. I started noticing that these like relatable reels and this relatable content was actually what psychologists call priming. So I would watch the reel and then I'd have an emotional response as relayed by the creator, and then later on when it actually happened to me or something similar, then those emotions would come back up, but the emotional response would be even worse than if I had never even watched the reel in the first place. Back in 2020, when I had my first baby, so she was a COVID baby, I distinctly still remember the time that I went and made a separate account on my Instagram to my personal account, and it was an account that was just going to be for motherhood. So it was named after my baby Stevie Jean, and I followed all of these mums and they all followed me back, and I actually started talking to other mums and I started seeing so much relatable content. I was like thrown into this whole motherhood world, and I'll be honest, like at the time it was actually really good for me. Like it entered me into this whole new world of mum life, which was probably not a bad thing at the time. But then after a couple of babies and after a lot of breastfeeding and a lot of scrolling, I realized that actually this is actually making me feel worse when I get off my phone than if I had never even gone on my phone in the first place. Because I used to think like, oh, but it doesn't really affect me. Like I actually feel like going on my phone is a good thing because it helps me relax throughout the day, and it's a way for me to just zone out for a while through, all the busyness that mum life brings. But I didn't realize that every time I was opening up this relatable content, it was actually jacking up my nervous system, because every time I had an emotional response, my nervous system would go crazy. Similar to how when smokers think that they're having a break by having a smoke, the whole time they're having it, their heart rate's actually going up through the roof, and it's actually making them feel more crazy than before, even though they think that they're relaxing. The exact same thing happens when you're scrolling. And if you feel like you're alone in motherhood and you feel like you're just completely lost and on your own, I have a freebie that you can download in the description below, and it just gives you some tools to get through your week, get through your everyday, because I feel like that's the sort of thing that I needed when I was a mum. I feel like I needed that support and some actual stuff to help me get through my day. So that's the one thing, is the priming. So the priming actually exacerbates our emotions when we're going through those moments with our children. But the other thing is, and I don't know what's worse, I think this actually might be the worst thing, is that it actually leaves us hanging. So we watch this relatable content, like we might watch a reel, and then instead of giving us something that we can actually do, like an actual strategy or a real tool, something that we can actually do in those moments, even for ourselves, because I know that even for us, it's hard for us to calm down in those moments that when we're dealing with our toddler having a hard time. It can actually be us who needs that support in that moment. Instead of us getting that support and them giving you some way of dealing with it, it just leaves you hanging, and you just on to the next video, and you don't actually have any new strategies or any new ways of dealing with that stuff. And instead you just like go off your phone and you're like, great, well now what? Now I'm just stuck in this mum life, I'm stuck in this really hard parenting thing, and I don't even know what to do about this, and I just have to go through it and deal with it. And that's what eventually just made me feel so sick of it. I was just like, you know what, it was that thing of like, you've seen one, you've seen them all, and I felt like the reels were just so repetitive and nothing was actually helping me. And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm just going to get off this thing. And I didn't realize that there was actually so much more help out there as a mum if I was to read like parenting audiobooks. For the last 4 months, I haven't even been on my Instagram. Before that, I'd like slowly come off it a bit. I have read so many audiobooks, and one of the parenting books that I read was so good that I'm even going to buy it hard copy and highlight and tag it. It's literally like a bloody parenting manual, and I didn't realize, like I thought that the way I was parenting before was fine, and I thought it was normal, and that, the way I was doing it, like my children were going to turn out just fine, until I read this parenting book and I was like, oh my God, it gave me so many practical things that I can do, different ways of talking to my kids, that now I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know. I thought my girls were going to be fine when they grow up, and I didn't even know that there were things that I was doing that weren't actually even helping them. Not even bad things, just like little simple things, little ways of talking to them and stuff like that. And the last thing that I'd say is that it's distracting. So this psychologist from Harvard actually said it recently, and he said, we're so smart that we've even found out a way to cure boredom with our phones. But that's the thing, is like, boredom is not actually something to be cured. And he even said boredom is actually a good thing, because it helps us, be tuned into our reality and face our reality and think about things, think about our life. And I feel like that's what happens as a parent when you're scrolling all the time. You're not actually dealing with what's in front of you. And there's even worse than that, there's little moments that you could be missing. Like even the way my little girl lately has been saying, uh-oh, and like, who knows, maybe I would have missed the first few moments she said that, or maybe I would have missed some little things. Like imagine if you're scrolling and then you miss your child's first steps. That could seriously happen to people. And so it's like stopping us from being present with our children just by scrolling. And I know what you're thinking, like, okay, I can't be on all day, every day, which is totally fair enough, and I get that. But I think, like I said before, it's making you more jacked up than you realize. So you think that you're relaxing, but it's actually better for you just to be bored and to notice these little things, and to be maybe just going outside and having a cup of tea. And yeah, maybe a little bit of scrolling here and there, maybe like once a month or once every couple of months. But I can honestly say it has like changed my life. Like every older mum will say it to you. They just wish that they could go back in time and just spend that time again with their babies one more time if they could. And I feel like that's what's happening with us now. Like my memory with my first and second baby is just so much worse than with my last one, because I truly think that I was just on my phone so much that I was literally not there. Like I actually wasn't there with them. I was on my phone. I was somewhere else. I wasn't actually with them. And now when I think back, I think, oh my God, I can't even remember these little moments. I can't even remember these little things. I don't even know what used to happen all the time. And it's not that I wasn't physically there. It's that I wasn't there with them mentally. Like I wasn't actually there with them. And then now with my third one, I'm like, wow, I actually feel like I'm so much more switched on, and I'm noticing little things, and my memory is just so much better. And even just things like my problem solving, like even just things like knowing, okay, how can we make meal times a bit better? Or, let's do share platters after daycare now, instead of just like following orders from my toddlers in the kitchen. Like now we all, make a share platter together and we sit down and we eat it. Like it's honestly so much better than what it was before, when I was just always distracting myself on my phone to cope. Like there was even a time with my first baby, I remember, or she was a toddler by then, where I would actually plug my phone into the wall in the kitchen and like let myself scroll for a while, like half an hour or more, while she watched TV. Like seriously, if I could turn back time, I seriously would. Like that is just so much time that I spent not actually being in the home with my own child. Like it's just, I can't. And even now, like thinking back, what was I even looking at? It was probably just the same old stuff, keeping me in this loop of like, oh, parenting is so hard and these kids are so crazy. And we all jump on this content and we're like, oh yeah, this is me too. This is what happens to me as well, blah, blah, blah. But then what's after that? It's just nothing. Like then there's just nothing. There's no help. There's no strategy. There's nothing. We're all just going around and around in circles in this like crazy loop of like, this is just so hard. This is just so insane. And if you do feel like you're alone in motherhood and you don't really know how to get through every day, you don't feel like you've got many tools and stuff like that, if you get my freebie below, that's what I've got for you, is a 7-day toolkit to give you that kind of thing, to help you get through every day and not just feel like you're counting down to bedtime and feel like we're just stuck in this vortex of motherhood that's just consuming us. Because I used to feel like I was always just drowning in motherhood and I didn't really know where to turn. I honestly feel like when I was scrolling, I was looking for support. I was looking for someone. I was looking for that connection. And don't get me wrong, like things aren't perfect now. Of course I have moments where I do feel like that and I'm like, oh my God, this is just so freaking hard. Of course, like that's just the human experience. But I mean, now it's this thing where it's like, these are the normal feelings. Now I think when mums say that they wish they could go back with their baby, it's not even just stress that everything's perfect and la-di-da and beautiful. It's that, this is the human experience, to feel the hard things and the good things, to feel the bad and the good, to feel the breastfeeding that's hard in the middle of the night, and to feel that exhaustion and tiredness. And like I said before, it's not always a good thing. Of course, we need to problem solve and, communicate with our partners or hubbies and get ourselves through that and out of that and out the other side, and communicate with our families about it and everything, and problem solve. But it's just, these are the feelings that we should be able to feel deeply. We should be able to feel, is having a child and feeling that hardship as well as the good times, because that's what creates this human experience, and that's what we're trying to distract ourselves from by being on our phone all the time, and it's taking that away from us. And that's why I think our memory is so bad, and we can't even go back to those times, because the sleep deprivation and everything like that, of course, but it's just, I can just notice such a difference with myself, with my memory. I was probably the most sleep deprived with my third baby than my other two, yet my memory is the best. And this is the time when I've been on my phone the least. And the other thing is, it gives you FOMO. So when you're not on the app, you feel like you're missing out, and you feel like you're missing out on stuff. But actually, all that's happening is, we all know that these apps are designed to keep us on them for as long as possible throughout the day. And so what it does is, these creators are actually on the algorithm hamster wheel. And so they're trying to post every single day. They're trying to post content that we can consume up to multiple times a day sometimes. And then it gives you this feeling that you're missing out. But actually, it's just all this random fluffy shit. It's not actually stuff that's going to help. And that's when I realized this is just not worth my time, and it's making everything worse. And so I can definitely say that for me, getting off my phone has just been the best thing for me and my family in these last months. And there's no way, I don't even want to go back on it. Every time I even think about it, I just get this ick now. I'm like, no, I don't even want to get on my phone anymore. It just doesn't even do it for me anymore. I'm just so much happier to just be off it, and just be off my phone and just living life. This is literally living life to the fullest. It's not jumping off, bungee jumping. It's not skydiving, which is obviously amazing, but it's also these little simple moments, these tiny little moments that we get with our children while they're so little, and these little things that you don't want to miss. You don't want to regret that. So anyway, I really hope that this video has been helpful for other mums out there who might feel like what I was feeling. And even if you just give it a try for a little bit, even if you just give it a week or two or something. But anyway, leave a comment in the description below if you do give it a try and you see some benefits. I would love to hear that. So anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.